Hi everyone, this is the Slot, and in this channel we share and spread the love for art, literature and history. And in the video of today we're gonna talk about mythology, about the tragic and dramatic story of Medusa. When I read it again, I didn't remember and I didn't expect all of this. That's why I'm so happy to share it with you, in case you don't know it. Now, we can start. I took my notes, so let's begin. Medusa was born from two gods of the sea, and she was one of three sisters. The three of them were all Gorgons. Gorgons in mythology are these half humans, half monsters, and this is where the legends start to be a little confusing and intricate, because apparently Medusa was a stunning, beautiful woman, very attracting, that even the goddesses themselves started to be worried about her beauty, as you will know later. So how it's possible that she was half monster, half human, but still appreciated in the Greek society? Anyway, she was living her childhood with this other two sister and with a friend called Iphicles, that he remained her best friend for the rest of his life. Yeah, his life. You will understand the joke at the end of the video. The idol of Medusa was Athena. Athena, as you know, is the goddess of warfare, of justice, diplomacy, and she was a very appreciated god in the Greek pantheon. And she was basically a big fanatic of her. And when she was playing with their sister, she was doing the impression of Athena, and her sister were doing the monsters. This is funny. And Iphicle, that was her best friend, as I said, at some point he decided to declare his love to her. And this was it was a good thing, because in some way Medusa loved him back. But there was a problem, that she wanted to become a priestess of Athena. And Athena was also the goddess of purity, so she had to remain virgin, pure and immaculate if she wanted to be, a priestess of Athena. So she refused the love of Iphicles, her best friend, and went to the temple to start the school to become an apprentice and then, an important priestess for Athena. Sooner, given even for her beauty, because she was, as I say, this stunning, beautiful woman, people started to appreciate a lot her rituals. They were going to the temple just to look at her, to see her doing her stuff. And this was starting to be noticed by Athena herself, that was, looking at this priestess of her that was very passionate about Athena, but at the same time that was attracting people not for her skills, not for her devotion for Athena, but for her beauty. Many people start to say that her hair were hypnotizing. She had this curly straight hair that were just moving with the air, and it was so cool, so nice. And Athena started to notice that people were just, they just like her, not like the temple, and they didn't like Athena, they didn't like the temple, they were just in love with her. So in short, Athena, the goddess of justice, warfare and everything, noticed that there was this girl that was attracting people to the temple of Athena herself, not for her devotion of the goddess, but for her beauty. And this was not okay. Now, let's take a break from the story of Medusa, and we're gonna talk about a very famous rivalry between two gods in the Greek pantheon. I'm talking about Poseidon and Athena. As you know, for the city of Athens, that later was called like that, basically for this city, Poseidon and Athena fought a lot, because it was a maritime, very important city, and they both wanted to be the patron of this. But at the end, Athena won, and Poseidon could never forget that. So when he saw that there was this beautiful woman, Medusa, he decided that he wanted to take his revenge on Athena, and since the Athena was a pure virgin goddess, Poseidon wanted to, to engage with Medusa. So in this way, she would have broken the deal with Athena, okay, and he would have got his revenge. But what happened actually was the Poseidon show up to Medusa during a day. In this day, Medusa at some point just heard this voice coming from the sea, and Poseidon just come up with all this majestic body and whatever, with all his power and everything, and started to flirt with her, because he wanted to, make her break the deal with the temple of Athena. But till the end, Medusa managed to refuse his advances. And of course, Poseidon, that is, as we say in the previous video, he was a very short-tempered guy. He could not accept something like that. I mean, he was crazy. And he got very, very angry, and he started to hit her, but she managed to hit him back and escape. He know this thing, like even Iphicles, that was the best friend of her, tried to fight against Poseidon, but for Poseidon was just an ant that he threw away. And Medusa was so scared that the only place where she could run was the temple of Athena. She went there, and Poseidon, after, as I said, put down Iphicles, managed to arrive to the temple, and he did something very, very bad to her. At the end of this, he just went away satisfied for this, and Athena, the goddess of the temple, the big rival of Poseidon, acted in a way that probably was, we have to say something to make it understandable. She punished Medusa, because Medusa went to the temple, okay, because Medusa did nothing wrong, but she went to the temple to let this happen. Of course, was not planned, but she has to be the reflection of purity and everything, and it could not possible, because she was beautiful, and Athena thought that it was all for her vanity, that she wanted to take the place of Athena, given that. So she decided to punish her, giving her this weird aspect. Now, Iphicles, the best friend of Athena, at that point just, he got up after the encounter with Poseidon, and went straight to the temple. To the temple, he found Medusa that was like in a corner in the dark, and when he touched her shoulder, he saw these snakes coming around and trying to bite him. So just stepped back, and at that point Medusa was a little scared, a little surprised. He just turned around, and in the moment they exchange their looks, Iphicles turned into a stone, into a statue. And Medusa got like, oh my god, what happened? So she just ran away from the temple, and all the people that she was meeting, they were just turning into stones, into rocks, into statues. At the end, she went to a wood, and they sent this platoon of soldiers to catch her, but they all got turned into stones. And so this legend, this voice of this girl, this monster, terrible thing that was turning people into stones, just spread around, and the legend of the monster was at that point clear. Then she found this temple, like in a very abandoned wood, a very, very old temple, and she started to live there. Till at the end she found out that this temple was actually one of the first temples and houses of Athena. And this was crazy because at that point she felt it was like a signal, and she decided to keep showing her devotion to Athena. Even if Athena turned her into a monster, she was still her fanatic. She was still her acolyte, her apprentice and everything. And after a long time, Athena noticed that it could not be for vanity, because if she was doing all the rituals and attracting people to the temples for vanity, so why she was keeping do that even if no one was coming to her, no one was appreciating her anymore? So she understood that probably she committed a mistake that of course was all fault of Poseidon. And yes, so happened all these things, and at this point something happened. It was just a normal day and someone was coming into the temple, the secret hiding of Medusa. She was getting prepared, to fight back in case this person was coming with bad intention. And this person was actually coming with bad intention because he had a sword. He was a soldier, and this soldier had a sword and a very, very charming, lighty shield. A shield that was given by Athena herself to this soldier. She tried to fight this man, but she got like enchanted by the shield of Athena, and this soldier had the time to just swear his swords, and that. She took her head, and he took her head, and he brought the head to Athena. Now, Athena helped Perseus, if you didn't get before, not because, as many things, she was the monster and she had to be defeated at the end. No, because she understood her mistake and she wanted to help her, to go to the afterlife. And a nice thing was that at the end she put the head of Medusa to her shield as a symbol of her devotion, her respect. And at that point Medusa started to get recognized by people for being this highly devoted priestess of Athena. And yeah, this is the end of the story. And the funny thing at the end is that from the blood that in the temple of Athena, since it was this blood of Medusa, but with the seed of Poseidon and everything, the Pegasus, the symbol of purity, of highness and everything, just come up from this, was born from this blood, and it flew away. As this for saying that, inside the Medusa was still pure, still immaculate, and still a very good person and not a monster. This is the end.